Hello, my name is Mika Rain Cantrell, and this is my interpersonal process speech, and I will be going over relationships. Now, my purpose for telling you this, the purpose for me to telling you this speech is to kind of give you insight of my life and what I've been through with my family, etc., with current relationships I have, and how they have affected me in my past and how they affect me now and how I hope to grow in the future, right? So growing up, my parents were kind of distant, right? So I kind of never really was keen on friendships growing up, right? But my purpose of telling you this is to probably hopefully learn more about yourself and to learn more about me and my experiences, right? So, how my parents' behavioral addictions affected me. So, growing up, my mom always worked 24/7, right? And this kind of created a lot of difficulty in my life because, I never really had any parents to kind of guide me or talk to me very much. And with my dad, it was the same thing. He worked a lot, and then when he wasn't working, he really didn't interact with me at all. He always kind of just did what he wanted to do. But because of that kind of shaped who I was as a child, and I kind of was an attention seeker in a way, which kind of made people annoyed by me, which I completely understand. I understand that completely. So yeah. But now that we have explored my past and how that kind of shaped me up, I'll go over my current attachment style. So currently, I have a lot more friends than I did as a kid, and I also have a relationship with a significant other, right? Now, because of my lack of attention from both my parents growing up, I seek that attention in my relationships a lot, and this can lead to a lot of toxicity or obsessions. It can make my friends more annoyed with me on certain topics, and it can make my significant other feel really overwhelmed with my needs and my obsessions. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's a really big problem actually. I'm really growing on it currently, and I hope and I know that I will get better. Because in a way, to tackle this issue is to really notice my attachment style characteristics. Like, I try to regulate my emotions first. Like, instead of just arguing, to step back, breathe, kind of analyze what I did, what they did, see what we both did wrong, and then apologize, right? And I just try to fix the situation through communication. Now below I will share an excellent quote describing anxious attachment style and how it affects those around them. So the quote starts, typically present in people with an anxious attachment, hyperactivation strategies include a high need for care, persistent search for proximity and protection, rumination, and an intense worry about abandonment. And that's a really good quote and basically sums it up way simpler than how I kind of described it. But yeah. But now that we have that over, I will lastly go over how I plan on overcoming these situations to become a better person for those around me, And my first thing is by focusing on me. And a good way to focus on myself is to do things that really make me feel happier, without depending on other people to make me feel happy all the time. Because usually if someone doesn't text me back in a certain amount of time, it's enough to literally ruin my entire mood for the entire day. But to challenge that, I need to actually do things that make me happy and kind of ignore people more. Well, not ignore people, but to kind of not put all my energy and focus into somebody texting me back or calling me back all the time, just to kind of help me forget about it in a way. But yeah. And another thing I could really do is probably try out doing some hobbies. Definitely. That's kind of linked to my first point, is doing hobbies like painting, drawing, reading. Those things I love so much. And then another thing I could do is therapy. And therapy, though expensive, I understand, but hopefully if I save enough money, or hopefully my insurance or something can cover it, that can really help. Like talking to a professional about it instead of like just talking to friends could really help me find out what to do in order to tackle these kind of issues I tend to have with my relationships, right? Okay. Now I will go over what we got over. So I went over my past trauma with my parents specifically and how those kind of affected my childhood relationships growing up. And then I explained my current relationship issues, be it with friends or my significant other, right? And then I went over how to kind of grow from that and what I can do to counteract those situations, right? Okay. Now, thank you for listening to my speech. I hope you can find some guidance through my story. If not, then at least you can learn something from me, hopefully. Probably if you see something like this in your friend, try to help them out, really. But yeah, thank you for listening in. Here are my citations. I have another slide for my image citations, and yeah, that's it. Thank you so much.